Welcome to the EdTech Chat and Chew podcast, the podcast where four passionate teachers from different parts of the country get together on their lunch breaks to share resources, tips, and ideas to help you empower your students. Each week, we'll do our best to inform and inspire you with the amazing things that are happening in our schools. We're very happy that you've joined us today. And now, here's your host, Diane Smokorowski.
Hello everyone and welcome. This is EdTech Chat and Chew episode number 8, and today we're going to be talking about some things that are happening in our school districts as well as a reflection to the Virtual Valentine Project. And I just can tell you that I'm super excited about things that we're going to be sharing today. My name is Diane Smokorowski. I am from Andover, Kansas, and always with me is Mike from Pennsylvania.
Hello there.
Karen from Texas.
Hi.
And Andrea, also from Texas.
Hey, guys.
And we're excited to be sharing with you today some of the stuff that we've got going on. So let's hear what's happening in your district first. Karen.
Well, I'm going to share what's happening in one of our classrooms. I have this awesome teacher I've kind of been working with a little bit. His name's Mr. Arnsworth. I got to give him a shout out. He's a middle school science teacher, and he's gone paperless. And so he's using laptops with his students one-to-one, and he's also kind of wheeled in some iPads, an iPad cart, and taken on learning how to use Configurator, and his students have started creating some projects in Nomia. In fact, they're just creating lots of different projects, but I just love the way that they're learning, and he's just constantly trying to switch it up to keep their interest in learning, and not just the science. The science is super important, but just switching up the different ways and the different products that they're producing in the classroom. So got to give a shout out to that, somebody who's just really trying to utilize the tools to get the kids excited about learning.
That's awesome. I mean, really, it's anybody who's willing to try things out, and I don't know if the rest of you would agree with this, but for a while I thought when it came to EdTech, so many people thought it was an age sort of thing. Well, I'm too old to learn this, but I totally disagree. I think it comes from the curiosity of wanting to check out what's there. What would you guys say?
Definitely
agree. Yeah, I would agree. I know plenty of teachers that are 25, 30 years in that are doing incredible things, and I know plenty of pre-service teachers that are coming into the profession with very limited knowledge of some of the incredible things they can do with students.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love this teacher's attitude because we were talking about, students that don't like going to school or hate learning or, just get a really negative feel when they're at school. And so he was telling me, anytime a student says they're bored, it challenges him to look for something different. It challenges them to just try something new. And so I love that. Like, it's a challenge. He's going to make learning exciting for his students, and it's inspiring.
Yeah, it's great.
Cyber high five to that guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, he is awesome.
Okay, Mike, what's happening in Pennsylvania?
We have some really, really neat things going on. Recently, I came across the Marvel superhero creator app that came out, and so my second grade teachers have been looking for something to blog about. And what we've done is we had each of our second grade students come up with a superpower that they want that would allow them to help save the world, and they wrote blog posts on what they would do with that superpower and how they would go about saving the world. And then we went on to Marvel's superhero creator app, and they created their superheroes, and we took screenshots that we're embedding into their blog posts. So that's been really neat. One of the other things that's going on is there's been a program in Pennsylvania that was very beneficial for me in the past called the Keystone Technology Integrator Program, which each principal can nominate one teacher in their building per year to be a Keystone. And about 100 of those Keystones are chosen to go to a summit that's all expenses paid, where they get to network with each other and talk about the incredible things that they're doing. It's a four-day summit that happens at Kutztown University, and so I've been trying to share that with the different principals in my district so that we can hopefully start building that knowledge within our district. But if there's any other listeners in Pennsylvania, if your principal doesn't know about that program, we're going to put the information in the show notes so that way you can make sure that they nominate someone for that program.
That's awesome. Incredible.
Yeah, it's a really great opportunity.
Anytime that our kids have an opportunity to do something like that, jump on it. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I know a lot of Pennsylvania teachers that got their start, including myself, with the Keystone program, and that was kind of the catalyst that helped them start really doing incredible things with their students. And so I'm hoping that for some of the teachers in our district that it serves the same purpose.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, Andrea, what's happening in your district?
Oh wow, it's been a crazy week this last week. All of our stuff is due for iCreate, which is a chance for the district to really kind of showcase all the really cool technology things that we've been doing in classrooms. And so I've been helping teachers get those all submitted because there's been some awesome things going on with EduCreations and ThingLink, some great global collaboration projects we get to post. So I've been in and out of classrooms all week this last week trying to get those submitted. And of course, Destination Imagination is just around the corner. And I'm also about to start my giant game-based game for my whole school. So we'll see how that goes. So it's definitely been a very, very busy week. So there's lots of good things going on. So many. I don't want to just talk about one teacher because there's been so many teachers that have started really collaborating with me, and so I can't wait to share that through our blog. So
Yeah, great.
Well, and this game, why don't you explain to our listeners kind of what the game is about? It's really interesting on how we can bring more kids into exploring new tools.
That really is what it is. I started with my flight program in the morning, and I had a few kids that were interested. And teachers get so busy that it's not that they don't want to do technology, but they kind of forget, it's testing season and everything. So I want to give the kids a chance to still use that technology and not realize that the technology that they're using is for those low TEKs or those low SEs that we're working on. So I've created this giant game board outside my my computer lab, and it's called the Affinity Game, Plug into Learning. And so students have to complete 2 tasks, which we email me and also comment on a blog, and then they can get their first secret passcode to see what the first challenge is, because I figured out how you can passcode each page in a blog. So for them to complete after they complete the challenge and turn it in through a Google form, they'll then get their next secret passcode. So they'll have to do 5 challenges first, which kind of just shows them how to use Google Docs and also submit things. And then after that, the challenge will get more collaborative, and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited. So
That's awesome.
It sounds really cool. I bet you're excited, and I bet your students are excited too.
I hope so. I've had a lot of kids. When does the game start? I'm like, it starts on Monday. It starts on Tuesday. So we'll see how it goes.
That's great.
It's almost kind of like Genius Hour, but letting the kids kind of go different directions the way they want at any time. It doesn't have to be a scheduled time of the day.
Exactly. And this way too, if you've got those fast finishers, then a teacher can say, hey, you know what? Have you done a challenge lately? But I also made it too, so a kid couldn't say, oh, well, I want to do challenge 54. Well, you have to have the secret passcode to get challenge 54. So
it's kind of like choose your own adventure.
Exactly. So
I love that.
What about you, Diane? What have you been up to?
Oh my goodness, there's been so many things going on. We have a project that I've been working on for the past year is on bullying, and it's a group of 8th grade students in the district who are in a global collaboration discussion with children in Virginia, New York, China, Kentucky, and it'll hit me here in a minute. They're in one other location, Wisconsin, and Indiana. We have these children who are all involved in this conversation. And we post each week, North Carolina, I should bring those people in too. We post a question each week for the children to go into Edmodo and respond on it. We've put the children in small groups with representatives from all these other schools in each group, if that makes sense. Okay? So group 1 has representatives of every school in that particular group.
So kind of like a jigsaw model?
Similar, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it's the same question we ask each group, but in each of these groups we have a teacher moderator who's involved in the discussion with these students. And a lot of it is like, how do you even define bullying? Is it defined the same in your community as it is in mine? Or who really owns the power in your community? Is this put together by a group of elite students who kind of persuade the rest of the group to follow a different direction? Is it athletic driven? Is it gender driven? Is it financially driven, the financial status, but just kind of where does it kind of stem in your own community? Is it cliques, and so forth? From there, we're now on week 7 of these discussions, and this week is talking about solutions of, okay, what does a real friendship look like? And how do you get to know somebody who's different from yourself and find common ground with you and your collective friends and so forth? And really started giving these children a chance to find a solution for bullying in their own communities by researching with other children around the world. Does that make sense?
I think that's great.
Wow.
Lots of
Sounds like
perspectives there.
It sounds like a wonderful opportunity for them because, too often we talk about bullying in schools, but without that perspective from other areas and talking about experiences that other kids are having outside of the culture that you have in your building, it's very difficult to get a handle on it. I think that's just an amazing opportunity for those kids.
And I'll tell you what's been very fascinating about the whole thing is the idea of diplomacy. Because we have people who have stereotypes about different regions of the U.S. and the world. And, it's more of the, well, I'm from this region, so I'm smarter than you. Or I'm from this region so that I'm tougher than you are, or one of these sort of things. And to help the students understand that you want to come to this conversation as a contributor to the conversation, not somebody who's trying to dominate it. And that's been a very interesting way to teach voice in writing to our students in a real-world application. And we have a couple more weeks left, and the students will then start building their action plans to present. They'll go back to their own communities and say, well, we've been in all these 12 different groups. These are the solutions that we suggest. Let's build a plan for our own communities. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it.
So Diane, how did this come about? How did this project start?
The project actually was started by another teacher in our district named Jenny King, and we do the Holocaust unit every year, and she wanted to bring it into a more, let's take a look at the Holocaust, but let's take a look at it of where does that really start? The idea of pushing people out of one direction or another. It's just from the lack of getting to know people, understanding their perspectives. That's where it really stemmed, and then it grew into this piece for the students to do research and collaboration and writing. So we planned it last summer, and it's been a year-long project, and this is the time we're doing the discussions. It's awesome.
Wow, it is awesome.
It's very cool. So those are some of the things that we're doing. But let's talk Valentines, friends. Okay, thumbs up. Did you absolutely love the project?
Two thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. I have to say, of all the projects that I've been involved in, this is probably one of my favorites that I've ever done. Absolutely, without heart-stopping moments to even say, yes, let's do this again next year. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
I loved it. What did you love about it, Karen?
Well, what did I love about it? Well, I got to go visit a couple classrooms that were making the connection, the actual Skype connection. So that wasn't a requirement, but it was something a lot of the teachers decided to reach out. They were going to research about the opposite, I guess, their connecting classroom. And it was so nice to see in their class how they had posted what the population was, what region they were in, just all of the information that they had found out about each other. And then just to see the Valentines, they were so sweet and full of love, and the kids were just so excited, so excited. I know in one classroom we had connectivity issues, it happens, right? And so actually that class had to connect via iPhone, and sometimes it happens. But you should have saw all of the kids, just huddled around this iPhone and listening so quietly and waving on the opposite end, but just having a great time. To them, I don't even think they realized there was a little glitch in our network, but they saw them, they were happy. It was a great Valentine's for them, for sure. I loved it.
All right, Andrea.
Well, I have to say, I've loved seeing all the tweets that have been going out, especially the ones that chose to use it as a mystery Skype. How cool was that? What a great idea to do it that way. But also talking to, I had a kindergarten teacher that participated in it, and I told her, I said, hey, this is a great, I said, look what you just did. You just globally connected your classroom. She goes, I know. She goes, and next year when I do it again, we'll have a much more in-depth look at really all the miles, so that she can actually then submit this for the I Create for the global connections, because that's one of our categories. She goes, this year we just kind of did a card and we enjoyed learning about them, but next year I can't wait to try it again and get more in-depth than what I did this year. So it was very fun to talk to everybody.
Yes.
About
Mike.
it.
Yeah. I want to say that my favorite part was the amount of learning that happened, that took place among the students, but it wasn't. Normally that would be in my wheelhouse, and that's what I would go for. But I actually got almost teary-eyed watching some of the Valentines that were created on the spreadsheet. Just the work that the kids and teachers did, and how much passion they put into it was just incredible. And like Andrea said, one of the things that was probably most exciting for me was to see the inspiration in the teachers that I worked with and that I communicated with, in, we can't wait to do this again next year, or, so many teachers were taking chances and trying things that they otherwise wouldn't have done just because they connected with the project in a way that they hadn't connected with other things.
Right.
I absolutely love every bit of it. It's just been a fantastic ride.
Well, and I had one class of 5th grade students who connected with a group of kids in Kenya for the project. And what the students here decided to do was make their own iMovie to explain how students in America celebrate Valentine's Day. Some of us have parties, and these are the Valentines we do. We give high fives to one another. And the students themselves designed this whole video. As long as it was under 3 minutes, then they could send it across pretty easily for data restrictions and so forth. But in exchange, the children in Kenya, who are some of my favorite people on this planet, the students made flowers with hearts on them and took pictures of that, saying, Happy Valentine's Day to Kenya, from Kenya to the kids in the United States. And I can't be, again, a little emotional, Mike, because it's just the possibility of what kids can do. And so many tools that teachers tried that they hadn't used with kids before, and just a variety of different tools that were suggested or even tried for the project. If you go to our gallery, you can see several screenshots of different examples submitted and see what else is out there. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And unlike the Kid Wish project, which we had a couple of tweets here and there, the hashtag, the K-12 Valentines hashtag, has been going crazy. Every day there's new stuff up there and people sharing, and I'm retweeting stuff that people have done. There's just been such buy-in into this project for whatever reason. Maybe because it's people really connect with others with the theme of Valentine's Day, or the global collaboration that's come with it. But people have really gotten on board with this.
And I think a lot of it was because it's completely virtual. So teachers didn't feel like the 5th grade class that I worked with at our school, she goes, okay, these kids have extra time, you figure out how to do it. And so then the kids could, since it was virtual, they didn't have to worry about the postage, they didn't have to worry about, they just had to make sure they got emailed or shared.
Right.
So I think that's a real big buy-in too.
And I love the fact that even if you want to do video, you could do it in a safe way. You didn't have to put your video up on YouTube, but we had some with Vimeo who just gave passwords for them to go see the video privately. Some put it in Google Drive and shared it that way. It was easy. I think that was the biggest part of it all. It's easy and it was fun.
Yeah, and if you have a teacher that's sharing with you on Google Drive and that's a tool that you've never used before, suddenly you're exposed to a new tool, and boom, now you've learned something else. And I saw a lot of that going on also.
Isn't it awesome? And then there was this really cool thing that happened at Doink. What was that, Michael?
Yeah, we used a combination of Doink's green screen app and Animoto to create our kindergarten virtual Valentine. So each kid shared, I wonder why why a skeleton holds your body together, or I wonder why the sun comes up in the morning, or whatever kindergarten kids wonder. Where sprinkles got made, that was a big one. Or Judy's, depending on what part of the country you're in, but we call them sprinkles. And so we shot a short, 8 to 10 second video of each kid sharing what they wonder, and used the Doink green screen app to put them standing or sitting in front of that thing. So a cake full of sprinkles, or a skeleton, or the sun, or whatever it happened to be. And then we took all of those short little videos and put them together using Animoto with a Valentine's theme, and then ended with a whole class shot of the kindergarten class saying, hey, Florida, we wonder if you'll be our Valentine, or hey, New Hampshire, which was really awesome. But Doink saw this, and they loved it. So they, of course, wanted to show how their products can be used, and they constantly tweeted it out, featured our kindergarten students on their blog for their product, and it's just been really cool exposure for our kids.
I love it.
How did I miss those tweets? I saw the video and it was awesome. I'm gonna go look for them now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I tell you guys, it really and truly, through global collaboration, anything is possible. That's the summary of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And surprises. I like to say that it's what magic happens. Things that you didn't imagine that would occur do, and it's just incredibly fantastic. So it's great. All right, friends, it's time to go. There's the bell. So, Andrea, what's for lunch?
I don't know yet. It's been such a crazy morning this morning. I haven't had a chance to really look in my fridge.
Okay, Karen?
Well, yeah, it's only 10:25 here in El Paso right now. So wherever I take my kids on an adventure, because we're going to go somewhere, because we're off today, I'm going to find something along the way. So it'll be a surprise.
And Mike?
Well, this is the first day that we've been in school in a while. I had a conference beginning of last week, and we had snow days, and I think I figured out that I've only been in school between professional development sessions and snow days 4 days in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So it was kind of rough getting out of the house this morning, so I grabbed whatever leftovers I could find, and I have some spaghetti that's fried with spinach and garlic in oil, some quinoa, and some leftover carrots. So
That's good.
that's what I've got today.
Sounds good.
How about you, Diane?
And you know what? I'm going to be embarrassed to say that I just ate breakfast at 10:30, so we'll probably be having lunch late today. So we'll work about that later. Okay, friends, until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for EdTech Chat and Chew this week. We love getting together to learn from each other, and we're happy that you were able to spend a little bit of your time with us today. You can make sure that you don't miss an episode by subscribing to the podcast on iTunes or to our YouTube channel. If you enjoy the podcast and you got a few good ideas today, please take a second to leave us a review on iTunes. Leaving a review is a great way to let others know about the show. Show notes and more information about topics from today's episode can be found on our website, edtechchatandchew.weebly.com. If you have questions for us or would like to give us feedback, drop us an email at edtechchatandchew@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll try and get your questions answered on future shows. On behalf of the podcast team, I'd like to wish you a week filled with all of the amazing things that make teaching the greatest job in the world. Make sure to join us next week when we answer a question or two from our listeners and discuss our best tips for surviving those dreaded state assessments. See you next time. Until then, keep on learning.